It stands in a small southern cemetery, the gravestone of a 26-year-old Black American.
Jimmy was a symbol of something. That guns and bullets cannot destroy ideas.
There are black cemeteries still hidden in the pine groves and swamplands of the South, reminders of 300 years of slavery and oppression, of forgotten gravestones, forgotten names. By 1954, slavery had been dead in America for nearly a century. But in that time, one type of tyranny had replaced another. In the 1950s, the average income of an African American in Mississippi was $700 a year. Denied the vote, they had been written out of the political system. Denied an education, they had been left to do a white man's work at a black man's wages.
They're supreme, superior. So that's what they're thinking. And when you've been taught something so long, whether it's right or not, you begin to feel like it's right.
In Money, Mississippi, in the summer of 1955, a 14-year-old black boy from Chicago bought candy in a store. On the way out, he said something to the owner's wife. Emmett Till was visiting his cousin's grandfather, a 64-year-old tenant farmer. Mose Wright had lived in Mississippi all his life and knew his place. It never occurred to him that a young black boy would act differently.
Looked like a youngster, be kind of mannish. Didn't know the custom of the South. Whispered at a white lady. Whistled at her. And that night, they went there and got him. And took him out and killed him. And put weights on him and put him in the river.
Emmett Till's funeral was held in Chicago. At his mother's request, the coffin was left open for the world to see what they had done to her son. The trial for the murder took place in the Tallahatchie County Courthouse in September 1955. An all-white jury was selected. Blacks were confined to a separate corner of the room. The murderers were identified and later admitted kidnapping and beating and killing Till. But the white jury took just an hour to find Roy Bryant and his half-brother J.W. Milam not guilty. A few months after the Till trial, blacks met in Montgomery, Alabama's Holt Street Baptist Church to protest their continued abuse. They were especially angered at what had happened a few days before. Rosa Parks, riding a city bus, had refused to give up her seat to a white man and had been arrested. Black people had been arrested before, even shot for less offenses to the city's segregation ordinances. But Rosa Parks was a well-known, respected figure in the black community, and her arrest ignited indignation.
These guys that drove these black routes, they were white. They would say, move back, move back, move back. Get your black ass back there.
If you're sitting in the front of the bus, he made you get on the back, or either if you didn't get on the back or refused, he would take you, put you in jail.
And we are not wrong. We are not wrong in what we are doing.
On December 5th, 1955, 26-year-old Martin Luther King was chosen to lead the bus boycott.
If we are wrong, the Supreme Court of this nation is wrong. If we are wrong, the Constitution of the United States is wrong. If we are wrong, God Almighty is wrong.
The first bus came up and the driver yarned the door open. He said, are you getting on? And that black man said, I ain't getting on till Jim Crow gets off.
They walked and organized their own carpools and taxis. City buses stood idle or ran empty.
We stayed on the bus 381 days. And that's a long time.
On December 20th, 1956, U.S. Marshals served city officials with a federal court order banning bus segregation. The battle had been won.
Citizens of Montgomery, Alabama will return to the buses on a non-segregated basis.
But in Little Rock, Arkansas, a new battle was about to begin. On September 4th, 1957, 3 years after the Supreme Court decision outlawing school segregation, the Arkansas National Guard and an angry mob stood between 9 black children and the all-white Little Rock Central High School. Prevented by the troops from entering the school, the 9 black children were harassed, cursed, and threatened by the mob. Some were demanding that they be lynched. Only with the help of a white woman did one of the children make it to a bus and to safety. On September 25th, the 101st Airborne Division arrived to enforce the Supreme Court decision outlawing segregation in American public schools.
We were gathered up at each of our houses by an Army station wagon. Jeeps in the front and behind us, machine gun mounts, bayonets drawn. They assigned us each an individual paratrooper who was our personal guard. White soldiers who were not much older than we were. Every day was like going to war.
The perseverance and bravery of the 9 black students attending Central High School had an influence far beyond Little Rock. Young people, especially students in predominantly black colleges, were inspired to move against the injustices they saw. In the winter of 1960, they began a series of sit-ins at segregated lunch counters in a dozen American cities that refused to serve African Americans.
Come on, get out of here.
We'd never gone down this road before, so there was some concern about what could happen, or what would happen.
A manager would come out and say, we're just not going to serve you, and you're best getting out because we're going to call the police.